Yesterday, Pierre Strong, the running back that the Browns traded Tyrone Wheatley for, met with the media, talked about the opportunity with the Browns, playing with Nick Chubb, and this offensive line.
It's great, he know everything. He wouldn't be top 5 if he wouldn't every year. So, I listen to everything he say and to take it all in. He helped me perfect my game and just telling me little key pointers that he used and he do, so he helped my game out as well.
This is an offensive line that is really good. The scheme is really good. This is a little bit like San Francisco. So
yeah.
Is there a little bit of excitement to kind of get behind this line and run behind it?
Yeah. I'm ready, man. Like you said, it's one of the best lines, if not in the league. So, just every day come to work, run behind them. Can't do nothing but look good. So.
Is Kevin already dialing up some trick plays where I saw you threw some touchdown passes in college?
No, I don't know about all that. I'm just getting my feet wet out here, today and just, catching over the rhythm of things and how things belong and how things are operated here in Cleveland. So.
Could you be a returner if they wanted you to do that?
I'll be anything, man. I'm a football player at the end of the day, so anything they need me to do, I'm going to do it.
And Jeff, he has returned kickoffs before, hasn't returned punts. 4.37, I think, was his 40 time at the combine. That's a speed. We call that a speed back in the old days.
And to look at him, he doesn't look like a guy who runs a 4.37. He's obviously, pretty well put together. But the Browns, look, they gave Demetric Felton, they gave John Kelly, they gave Hassan Hall. Look, and even Jordan Wilkins, they gave these guys every opportunity. And obviously the Browns were not blown away because between Pierre Strong Jr. and Jerome Ford, they have 17 total carries in the NFL. So the Browns basically said, we've seen what you other guys have, but we're still more confident in these other guys. Strong was caught up in a weird numbers game in New England after the move for Ezekiel Elliott. Tyrone Wheatley, the Browns resigned themselves to the fact that he had done so well for himself that once they released him, there was going to be no opportunity to get him back on the practice squad. So you moved a player for a player. He had the top, 40 time, as you mentioned, at the combine of the year. He was there with 4.37. And yeah, you get to pick the brain of Nick Chubb. You get to run behind a Bill Callahan offensive line. You maybe get to return a kick or two. This is a really good spot, for Pierre Strong Jr. to come into. And, with New England, it's always a little bit difficult. Obviously, the standard is there. Bill Callahan does not have as long a leash with, some players as some other coaches do. Comes here, brand new golden opportunity. There could be an opportunity where he is running back 2 week 1. We know Jerome Ford's back, but we don't know how much back essentially Jerome Ford is. But this was a nice get. And, the Browns, they love athleticism. If they get an opportunity, they're going to go chase it.
When you look at that, and you mentioned it, between Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong, there's not a lot of carries. Do you think they're just looking at it saying, if we can get, and I'm just throwing a name out there because Jack Duffin earlier had mentioned, if we can get a Leonard Fournette or we can get somebody fill in the blank who's had significant carries at a reasonable price, are they looking at that, or do you think they're not doing that this year?
It could be something that could change, but I think the overall premise is you got to realize there's just not going to be as many carries to be had anymore. This is not a team that's going to run the ball like they did the last couple of years where you would have Nick get 20, you would have Kareem get maybe 10 plus. This is a team that's going to throw the football more often. Are they going to run the ball if they have the lead to close games out? Probably sure, most likely. But this team, it's going to be a big discrepancy as far as, whether there were passing attempts or whether there were running attempts. That number is going to get lower. So the number, replacing the 10 to 15 that were there maybe the last couple of years for other running backs besides Nick Chubb, it's not just going to be there. Leonard Fournette is an interesting name, but, I don't think Leonard Fournette has any thought process in his mind of going anywhere to back up. He's made a ton of money in this game. And, if he's going somewhere, it's with every intention to be the number one back. But I like the opportunity to let these younger guys prove themselves. And I also like the premise alone that these guys are just younger, less wear and tear. So when Nick does come out, you're putting in some guys, who are young, have plenty of athleticism, have plenty of juice. It may be intriguing. And the Browns certainly had the opportunity to do this. They've been in the running back market for, probably 5 weeks now. But you got to think if they didn't do it to this point, that maybe it's not something they're ready to jump into.
The other thing to keep in mind, Ford was a wide receiver in high school, so he can catch the ball coming out. And Strong is a guy that also can catch the ball. And with 4.37 speed, you get him in some open space. I'm sure Kevin Stefanski will find a way to make that work.
And neither of these guys are going to be, the takeaway options when they're on the field. If you're running, obviously, if you're running 11 personnel, you're running 12 personnel. Both tight ends are very athletic. The back's always going to be the last guy that's thought of. So, there's going to be a lot of easy swings to the flat because the coverage drops. And, now you got, 4.37 in the open field, and he does have decent size. Jerome Ford does have decent size. And, got him one-on-one with a cornerback. As far as, running backs, you'll take that matchup all day long.